Hi. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Wow, 19 people already. 24 people on this live stream already. All right, say hey if you want to. Hey, Becky. Hi, Marie. So, I'm going to try and get straight to the point because I'm not going to do a long live stream today because I've only got a short period of time before getting back to pick up my kids. And I want to walk for a little bit without talking, possibly. Possibly. I'm not going to make any promises. I might get carried away and continue to talk, as we all know, right? Hey, Sara. Hey, Samira. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Leah. Hey, Alexis. Oh, Alexis, I've got something to send you today. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Delina. What's up, everybody? Hey, Laura. Cool. Beautiful morning on the beach. Hi, Karen. How are you? Okay. All right, people are still jumping on. Let's just start. So I lost long-term private client yesterday and about 60 friends, I think. I can't remember exactly how many friends I had. Facebook friends. But some of them were like legitimately what I thought were real friends. Even some very close friends. Massive fallout. Can you guys hear me okay? Paulie says I don't hear anything but hi. Can everybody hear me? Can you just let me know before I continue? Yes? Let me know. Can you hear me okay? Okay, Leah can hear. I'm going to assume everyone can hear then. Hey, Kat. Whoa, okay. I always do this. I'm wearing my Nikes. I probably could have walked barefoot today. Sometimes it's so cold. Hi, Michelle. Cool. Okay, so yesterday I lost a long-term private client who I thought would be a private client for life and who's somebody that I consider a very good friend. Considered, I suppose. That's the sad truth. And I also lost some other people who I thought were real, like genuine real-life type friends through Facebook. And about 50 or 60 random people who dropped themselves off my friend list, and I'm not even sure who they all were. Some of them have, commented actively, but others haven't. So that's fine. Do you know what's fascinating? Okay, so if you're not aware why, and maybe you'd like to unfriend me as well, we can all just get that out in the open and underway. So the reason is that I put up a post about Trump the night before last, observing, because I saw some of the political debate, and then the next day I was at the gym and it was on the TV while I was doing my sprints. So I couldn't hear it, but I was just watching it without sound this time. And I was really observing the body language of Trump and of Hillary. And it was fascinating what I saw, and then I made a post about it. I'm not going to tell you the post because it's like 3 or 4 posts down on the page. You can easily go and check it out. It's out of control. I had to stop reading it because it was consuming my entire day yesterday. And I had actual other shit to do, and then I was hosting a dinner, so I couldn't do that. So I'm not sure what's going on there now, but I'm sure plenty. I have a massive day today as well, so whether or not I'll check in, I'm not entirely sure because I will get sucked into it. I do love to debate. But here's the thing, right? When I put up the post, this has been a little lesson for me in the mindset of the US folks. When I put up the post, I mean, I knew it was controversial and I knew there'd be some fallout and that it would blow up a little bit. I didn't realize how much, for sure. I was a bit taken aback, but I can't say I was surprised. I wasn't like shocked. I wasn't like, oh my God. But I put it up at midnight or something like that, and then I went to sleep. And then when I woke up in the morning, I was like, oh my God, right, this shit's blowing up, and then people are accusing me of being silent. I'm like, I'm freaking sleeping, people. It's the other side of the world. But also, no, I'm not going to go on there and answer every single freaking post because that's not the intention of why I put the post up. And also because I believe that a lot of what people are saying on there is just completely emotive and irrational. And so it's like, trying to argue in Russian with the Chinese baby. It makes no sense. Except I think the Chinese baby would be a hell of a lot smarter than most of those people on that thread, just on a side note. But anyway, a couple of people who were pretty in my inner circle were certainly not thrilled with my viewpoint and commented so on the post and everything. And that's fine, because I thought, I did think actually that opinion was not something to break up a friendship or a client relationship over, but here's the thing, like I lost a long-term private client. I lost a couple of people that I considered to be real friends, and 50 or 60 Facebook friends, as I said, many of whom I don't really actually personally know, but enough of whom I know who they were, and I would have thought them, you know, like people I felt friendly with and could easily have had a chat to over Messenger and so on. So it was quite a big fallout. I would say it was also, if you read the comments on there, probably my biggest sort of hater type backlash online in the 9 years I've been online. The thing is, that stuff can't touch me anymore because I've been around the block so many times to see it for what it really is. So it doesn't emotionally shake me. Of course, I was upset about losing a client, but not about losing the business, about the friendship, because I thought it was a real friendship. And I was, you know, it's funny, like I processed it in like a second. For some reason, I half expected it actually. I don't know why. Maybe based on some of the comments on the thread. So it wasn't, yeah, I was just like, all right, it is what it is, move on. There's no point having a big conversation about it or getting worked up. And it was respectfully done by both parties. But still, you know, I will talk about this a lot because it's somebody who I spend a lot of time with and post a lot of photos with and that sort of thing. And same with some of the friends who've decided that I'm no longer of acceptable connection. And I woke up just now and I thought, well, not just now, I've been having my coffee and journaling. But as I drove down here to the beach for my walk, I wasn't going to live stream. I was going to take a walk and process, you know, my intentions for the day, as you do. So crazy to put ideas above people. Right, Tara? It's just surprising to me. Yeah, Joy, when you find out who your real friends are. Right, and that's what I was saying yesterday with a few people I was discussing it with. They were like, well, Kat, they're not your true ideal clients and friends. And I'm like, oh, no, I fully know. You don't need to tell me. I mean, that's the first thought that I had. I'm like, all right, I thought you were a soulmate client. I was wrong. That's fine. Sometimes you're wrong. Or a friend, and you're not, because a true friend wouldn't do that, right? So I'm pretty good at, maybe I'm like too good at not letting things get to me, because I really just was very, very not emotionally disrupted. But of course it's got me thinking. And the thing that hit me as I drove down the beach this morning, just now, and got out of the car, I was like, hang the fuck on. It suddenly just hit me. I'm like, but some of these people who unfriended me are gay or of whatever religious persuasion or of colour, which never has occurred to me to be something that I would make comment on before, except for the fact that, what the fuck, dude? Like, isn't that the whole thing? That we don't prejudice against people because of whatever, because they're a minority or they have a minority viewpoint or they live their life in a particular way that the majority does not. And it just suddenly hit me, the freaking irony of it, or I suppose the hypocrisy of it. But it also just made me really think, like, wow, I guess I'm so naive as to how passionate Americans are around politics, and I'm not obviously from there, clearly, as we all know. And I knew that it was a thing, and I hear this stuff from friends there, and I did know that it would be controversial and all that. But I'm just like fairly disgusted, I suppose, and appalled. But once again, still not surprised, because you have to take people as they are, and I guess eventually they show who they truly are. But even like my Aussie friends here, because I guess we just don't really get it, right? But it's actually laughable. The Aussie people I've shared it with here are actually like, what? Somebody left you as a client or as a friend because of a political thing, because you put up about Trump? Like, it's actually a joke. It just is impossible that it would happen here. And so I know that people are going to be like, you don't get it, you don't understand. Well, you're right, I don't. And also, I don't particularly care to understand any more than what I already do, a world in which you would prejudice against somebody and cut them out of your life because they have a political view that's in opposition to yours. Because to me, that's exactly the same as if you would drop somebody from your life because they were of a different sexual persuasion or their religion or the fucking colour of their skin. Like, that's just some 19 whatever bullshit that I thought was not considered acceptable in the current world. But obviously, some people believe that there are parts of life where it's okay to prejudice against people because of their beliefs. And that's pretty shocking, isn't it? That's some biblical stuff right there. So look, I'm okay with it, and I actually choose to embrace it because I look at the fact that I'm stepping more and more into my role as a leader. I'm not exactly shy of voice in terms of what I have to say anyway. This was obviously, apparently, the most contentious thing that I've said. That's what I've learned from this. I truly didn't realize that when I put it up. I totally knew there'd be backlash. Didn't realize to the degree. And look, there's a couple of key people who are already in a real rubbing their hands together gleeful pattern of hating on me over the past 4 or 5 days. One of them even gave me the ultimate insult of all, which I was going to do a whole separate live stream on, which she said, how can you trust a coach who doesn't know how to match her bronzer properly? That was her opening argument. I was like, oh my God, now you've really hit me where it hurts. My makeup. Anyway, so there was already like a little bandwagon of women who are, going to town on me the last 4 or 5 days because I had blocked one of their friends on a post that I put up last week about beware of people who come to you and just want to bitch about other coaches. So it's really been a week of shit going on. There's been another incident the week before that where I was, not about me actually, but where I was backing up and supporting a friend who was getting a lot of hating online, and I pretty much went to town on the people who decided to come onto my page when I posted about him and then decided to actively attack him on my page. So I just took that bat and ball and ran with it. And then, there was another tiny little thing yesterday, anti-hustle and people who talk about rich chick coaching. I'm like, how many fucking people talk about rich chick? That's definitely my saying. Maybe I'm just triggered. I don't know. I actually don't mind being triggered. I kind of like it. I like the defensiveness and I like to be put in a position where I have to argue for my beliefs because it helps me to strengthen them. And because ultimately I will not fucking back down on my beliefs. I will die for my beliefs, just as I grew up being taught that you stand up for what you freaking believe in. If you're taking hits, if you're being threatened, if you're being cut, are you going to turn away from what you believe in? The way I grew up is, are you going to turn your back on Jesus, right? And I apply that same philosophy over to business. So when somebody hits me, when they cut me, when they attack me online, I do get ready for war, honestly, because I'm like, right, I will fight for what I believe in, not just for my own sake, but also because other people are observing and reading this, and they may not have the courage to speak up yet because they're at an earlier point in their journey and they're not yet evolved enough or trained enough as I am to be able to handle it, right? And I didn't used to be able to either, and I used to keep quiet on things. So it's actually my responsibility to be an example for those people. And so I will not back down, and I also will not shirk, and I will go back into the fray, mainly to be a light for those who need to be led, empowered, inspired by me, more so than that I want to keep arguing the same point, because obviously at a certain point it just becomes a waste of time. So at a certain point I will walk away just because of time, or because I'm getting a little bored with it or something, because people are being so repetitive. So I will stand up for what I believe in. And also I feel that the process of going through that fight strengthens you. And so yesterday I wrote about it, and I wrote my blog, Burn It All to the Ground and Start Again. And for those who read it, that was obviously, that's awesome, Mina, thank you. See, I'm still, honestly, like right now I'm walking around going, who else is going to leave? That's what I'm feeling right now. But I'm ready for it. Bring it on, because I would rather fucking know who you are. And if you're going to prejudice against me for that reason, then bring it out. Let's move our separate ways, and we can do that with respect, obviously, although I don't consider the whole thing particularly respectful in the first place. But I still know that there's going to be fallout that I'm not aware of. Even yesterday I got a message from a very dear online friend who I really respect and admire, and we have a lot of mutual respect conversations. And she messaged me and said, what the fuck have you done? Oh no, she goes, Jesus, Mary and Joseph or something. What on earth have you done? I've had so many people messaging me to unfriend you. And so I just felt like, I left her a little voice message on Facebook, and I said, well, here's what I've done. I put a post up essentially pro-Trump, and it's a few posts down on my page if you want to check it out. And I'm not sure what your views are, but I hope we can continue talking. And so that's the thing, like, I'm like with this woman and with other people, even with other clients potentially, I'm just in here waiting, right? So it's just like fascinating, but it's also very empowering. Because when you go through this, as I started to say and then got distracted, and I will check in on all these comments later. Sorry guys, I'm just powering along as I walk and talk without reading all the comments. But it's very empowering, because as you go through this, you not only have the opportunity, which is a blessing and an honor, to stand up for your beliefs, but you also have the opportunity to grow stronger. And that's what I recognized straight away, that this is actually essential training for me. I consider this training because I know that I will continue to speak up in a bigger and bolder way on whatever it is that my heart feels called to speak about, whatever I feel the message is that has passed essentially from God through me. And I really feel that a big part of my calling has to do with those sort of beliefs, not Trump beliefs, God beliefs, just to be clear on that. I see that as part of my future and my calling. And I've always kind of known that I'm going to be modern day burned at the stake in some way, shape or form. I hope not literally. But I've always known that as that's part of my role as a leader and with the message that I have in the world. And I'm fucking prepared for it. And I am preparing for it. And so when this sort of thing happens, yes, it hurt me and it took me aback to have people who I thought were inner circle people jump ship. But I welcomed it because I thought, Kat, this is what you always knew was going to happen at some point, and this is what, you know, has happened before with people getting triggered by me or just thinking I'm a bad person or whatever online. And it's like, whatever, I didn't care about you anyway, or I actually care about all people and their purpose, but I didn't personally know them, right? It's just somebody online who doesn't like me. So then you're like, oh, all right, good for you. But when it's people who you actually know, like even Facebook connections, but then on top of that, when it's people who you thought were your inner circle, then of course it's going to hurt a little bit more. Hey Lisa. Hey Carolyn. So, you know, it definitely rocked me more than other things have. But at the same time, I mean, I'm only talking about all that side of it. The opposite side, of course, was an incredible empowered response from a lot of women and some men, but in particular a lot of women who felt the same way but haven't said it, because as I've now learned, apparently you don't just say that on Facebook. So look, I'm not completely naive. I did know that you don't just say that on Facebook, but I still didn't think it was that big of a freaking deal, because I honestly just feel like what I said for the title of this live stream, it's actually like I'm like, I can't stop smiling about it, even though it's a bad thing. I'm like, what? It's like saying, oh, you're homosexual, I'm not going to be your friend. It's crazy. It's actually just mind-blowing. But yeah, the flip side is that I've had a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people who've been empowered by what I shared and who've reached out to me. Really seen a greater level of like-mindedness with my, I guess what I would say, my core clients. And not every person who's in my inner circle or my clients or my friends actually agrees with me, by the way, just to be clear. Some of them just choose to allow me to be who I am and some don't. So that's the distinguishing point. So I'm not saying everybody who is in my inner circle has to be pro-Trump. What do I care what your political views are? I'm going to have mine, you have yours. I don't go around telling you to be Christian just because I'm Christian. I don't go around telling you to be straight because I'm straight. It's mind-blowing. So I've had a lot of people come out of the woodworks who I didn't really know or didn't know at all, and I've definitely seen that I've strengthened my brand and my business, which, whoa, hang on. Okay, I dropped my headphones. Which always happens whenever you say anything contentious. You know, a few people gave me massive props and massive credit for what a brilliant piece of marketing that I put up, which I appreciate, because you're right, it was, but that wasn't the reason that I put it up. I truly, like the story I just told you, right? I was on the freaking treadmill in Sydney. The sound on the TV was silent. I'd already seen some of the presidential debate and heard it. And I had had my opinions anyway, but I didn't feel the need to talk about them. I just didn't feel so called. And then when I observed it on the TV without the sound, I was just fascinated by the body language, because I have studied body language extensively. I did a lot of thesis type work on body language in earlier years, and I've made millions of dollars online by reading and observing people. So I feel that I'm a pretty good study of people. And so that's why I put the post up. It was totally just, wow, this is what I saw and that's interesting. So it wasn't deliberately put up as a piece of marketing. It wasn't deliberately put up to cause a shitstorm. Those were carry-on effects. All right, so much good will come out of this, says Joy. I absolutely agree and believe you. And as it always does, filter, 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 right? And so you brace yourself, which I guess is what I'm doing now. You brace yourself and you endure the fallout, but I actually welcome the cut, the pain. Bring it on because you're making me stronger, bitch. And it's just the beginning as well, so that's fine. I'm growing stronger day by day. I think I actually I legitimately do enjoy being here in a physical sense. Like I find it thrilling, like adrenaline hit in the gym. I'm talking about like Muay Thai. Maybe I'll change my mind when I get bigger hits. We'll find out, hey? Yes, Queenie, it was a belief statement. I've said that many times. Whatever people think about the reason that I put it up, as I always do, I only say what I believe. And not only do I only say what I believe, I always say what I believe, which is why I posted it. I will not keep a belief to myself, no matter the fallout. That's part of my business philosophy that you know, for those who follow me, this is what I preach and teach every day. Speak your fucking truth. Speak your mind. Don't hold it back regardless of the outcome. So why would I be a hypocrite and hold something back because I know that certain clients or friends have a different viewpoint? Well, firstly, I didn't think I'd actually lose fucking clients or friends over it, but I just see, okay, not real clients or friends then. Cool, good to know. But even if I had have 100% already known that, even if I knew for a fact that I would have lost like every single one of my paying clients and my whole email list would have abandoned me, which I knew wouldn't happen because I know heaps of my friends are pro-Trump, right? My clients. But even if I had have known that, would have done it, 100%. 100%. If I have any beliefs that evolve in me over time where I know that I would lose everything to saying them, I would say them. I don't care because I've got to put my fucking life first, not business or even a relationship. I have to put my purpose first and my beliefs above everything, as we all do, because ultimately you will die for who you show yourself to be, and I am sure as shit not going to die for conformity or worrying about losing a relationship of any kind. And ultimately I believe that by being who I truly am, I do grow stronger, my circle tightens and improves, my wealth grows also, which is 100% true, and I've already seen the monetary return on yesterday's meltdown. So there's really only true positives that come out of this in a very big and powerful way. It's just about being willing to endure the wind and the wind and the fire and the storm in order to get through to that. So, you know, that's mostly all I have to say about the matter, actually. But I do believe that if you believe something and you don't say it, that you are dangerously limiting the growth of your wealth and of your impact, and more importantly still, that you're essentially killing your own soul. So it's not just that I say only what I believe, it's that I say all of what I believe. And I'm prepared to be, labeled as whatever, or put into whatever box, or attacked online, etc., or lose clients, so-called clients and friends over it. As much as I would prefer not to, I'm prepared for it. Matisse, just make sure you wear bronzer. Don't worry, everybody can relax on the makeup front because I'm actually having a makeup lesson next week and that was already booked. I'm not doing it in response to the bronzer. It's just like the funniest thing I ever freaking read. I'm like, all right, I've been called a cunt. I've been called all manner of things, but when you said that my bronzer didn't match, well, that's just taking it too far. And it's also like obviously the reason why you would choose a business coach, right? Based on their bronzer. All right. I have to go. I could go on and on. I'm going to come back. I'll go through the comments later. Mina, Kat, the women that gave you crap will come back and say, oh shoot, Kat was right. If Hillary becomes president, yeah, I don't know. Maybe some will, some won't. It doesn't matter, does it? Either way, I'll keep on my pathway. And that's actually what it's all about. You know, I can get triggered and defensive as much as the next person and fight back and push back. But I have my higher purpose reasons for doing that, which I outlined at the start of this live stream. So I'll continue to do that. But actually then when it fades a little bit, and then when last night I was like, Joy, jump on and have a look at what's up on that thread, I'm like, no, back on your pathway, Kat. Back to your own path. But I was thinking about it just now, hence deciding to do the live stream rather than just walk by myself on the beach. So I'm in my car now. I would stay and chat, but I have 5 minutes to go and get my little kidlets. So I'll come back and check in with you guys later. Share the stream if you think it's important, and keep pressing fucking play, living your life, because it is now.